Welcome to www.happynumbers.org, and today's lesson is multiplication of a binomial by a binomial. Now in last lesson we did the same thing. We multiplied a binomial by a binomial, and the way we did that was, if we had a problem like this, we rewrote it and we multiplied every term in this binomial by the first term here, and then every term in this binomial by the term here. Well, today we're going to work on a little different method. We're going to use a system which is called the FOIL system. And FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, that's I-N-N-E-R, pardon my penmanship, it's very sloppy, I-N-N-E-R, and last. If we look at these binomials, the first term in each of them is this. That's the first, and that's the first. So that's the first term. And if I look at the outer terms, the terms that are on the outside of both of them, I have this is the outside here, and this is the outside here. So this is outer, and this is inner. Now if I look, I'm sorry, this is first. Now if I look at the inner terms in both of these, this is the innermost term here and this is the innermost term here. And if I look at the last term, well, if this is the first term in this binomial, then that's the last term. And if that's the first, then that's the last. So the last is like that. So that's how we do this kind of a problem. In fact, here's exactly how it works. We do the first. 4x times, this is the first, 2x would give me 8x squared. Now we do the outermost terms, the two terms are the outside. 4x plus 1y, remember that's 1y, would give me a positive 4xy. Now I do the inner terms, negative 3y, positive 2x, because that's the inside terms, would give me a negative 6xy. And then I do the last. Well, these two are the last. Negative 3y and positive 1y would give me negative 3y squared. And now I combine all of our like terms. Well, there is only one x squared term, so I have 8x squared. But I have two xy terms. I have a positive 4xy and a negative 6xy. Well, that would give me a negative 2xy. And then negative 3y squared, there's no other y squared, so negative 3y squared. So that's how we would solve this binomial multiplied by that binomial using the FOIL method. And by the way, if we had done it using the regular method, the method that we used last lesson, we would have gotten exactly the same answer. So let me give you some problems using this FOIL method, and we'll see how you do. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put up this problem. 3m plus 2n times m minus n. By the way, remember this is 1m and this is a negative 1n, okay? So what would be the first terms in each of these? Well, the first term in this one would be here, and this would be the first term. So we would multiply 3m times 1m, which would give me 3m squared. Now, what is the outer terms? The outermost terms, the ones that are outside. Well, 3m and negative 1n would give me negative 3m n. Now, what are the inner terms, the ones that are in? Well, positive 2n and n and positive 1m would give me plus 2mn. And what are the last terms? Well, 2n is the last and negative n is the last. Positive 2n times a negative 1n would give me a negative 2n squared. Well, now we combine any like terms that we have. Well, we don't have any m squared, so we have 3m squared. But we have two mn terms. We have a negative 3mn and a positive 2mn. So that would give me a negative 1mn, and we don't write the 1. And then I have only one n squared term, so that would be negative 2n squared. So that's how we solve multiplying a binomial by a binomial using the FOIL method. So I'm going to put a problem up for you now and ask you to work it. 4x plus 3y times x minus y. Remember, this is 1x and that's negative 1y. Pardon me. Put your DVD on pause and go ahead and work that, and then when you turn it back on, we'll work through the solution. Okay, let's take a look. Our first terms, well, we have 4x and x, which would give me a positive 4x squared. Our outer term, I have a positive 4x and a negative y. That would give me a negative 4xy. That's a 1 there, right? My inner term, I have a positive 3y and a positive x. Gives me a positive 3xy. And my last term, I have a positive 3y and a negative 1y, which would give me a negative 3y squared. Okay, so let's take a look here. When we combine terms, 4x squared and no other x squared, so that'll give me 4x squared. This would give me negative xy minus 3y squared. Notice this time I put them underneath each other rather than just stringing it out. You can do that either way. All right, one more problem to make sure you have this skill, and then we'll move on. Let's try this one. 2y minus 1z, remember that's a 1, and y, which is a 1y minus 2z. Okay, so put it on pause, work that out, and then we will take a look at it. Okay, so our first terms are 2y and 1y, so that would be 2y squared. Our last terms are 2y and negative 2z, which would give us a negative 4yz. Our inner terms are negative 1z and positive 1y, which gives us a negative yz. And our last terms are negative 1z and a negative 2z, which would give us a positive 2z squared. And if I combine our like terms, there's only one y squared term, so I have 2y squared. Now I have negative 4yz and negative 1yz, which would give me negative 5yz. And there is only one z squared term, so that's positive 2z squared. Well, excellent. So that is the second method of multiplying a binomial by a binomial, called the FOIL method. First, outer, inner, last. These two are the first terms. These two are the outermost terms. These two are the innermost terms. And these two are the last term in each binomial. Excellent. Thank you very much for your attention. See you next time.